Hey guys, it's Ernesto and welcome back to yet another video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I'm having a wonderful day. So in this video, I'm going to walk you guys through how I created a series of images from this particular photo shoot. And I'll also talk to you about what inspired this photo shoot. The client reached out to me. I worked with this client, I believe it was last year, and she wanted to create some images similar to some work that I have done in the past. So she sent me some reference images. One of the images that she sent me is the image that you're seeing on the screen right now. This is an image I created on the channel. Check out the video. And by the way, this image also received an award at WPPI last year. So go ahead and check out that video. It explains how I created this image. But I just want to talk about how I utilize this image as inspiration to create the image that the client wanted. So in this particular photo shoot, I utilized 5 lights to create the image that you will see shortly in this video. In this video right now, and I do apologize because I didn't get an opportunity to do some B-roll to get some close-up shots of the lights. But in this video, the 5 lights that I'm using, the first 2 lights that I'm going to talk about, which I do not remember the name, it was part of the studio, it came with the studio, so I just chose to utilize it. So those 2 lights in the background that you see, one is orange, the other one is blue. Those are 2 constant lights that came with the studio that I decided to use. I just decided to use those lights for atmosphere, to add a little bit of atmosphere into the image. The lights to camera right is the AD600 light, and that has a beauty dish on there with no grid. The light to camera left, that's the AD200, and that has a 7-inch reflector. And the light directly to the right of me, that is the AD400, and that has a beauty dish on there with no grids. From a camera perspective, I was exposing for 3.2 seconds, I believe is what it was, on my shutter. Now there's multiple ways to create a multiple exposure image. In this particular case, I chose to drag the shutter to create this multiple exposure image. So given that my shutter is going to be open for 3.2 seconds, while any movement by the subject is going to be blurred. That's where the lights to camera right and the light to camera left comes into play, and the light also directly to the right of me where it will help freeze the subject. Now let's talk about how I had to fire each light. Now in order for me to fire each light, I had to use 2 triggers, and also I had to use manual help as well because I didn't have a 3rd trigger. So the first trigger that I had was on my camera, and that trigger, when I clicked on the shutter, it fired the light directly over to my right shoulder. The second light was the AD200, which was camera left, and that light was fired with the 2nd trigger that I had in my left hand. Now the light camera right to the subject, the AD600 light, that light was manually fired with the help of her manager because I couldn't get over to that light fast enough, so I requested her help. So the combination of these 3 lights have to be fired individually. It couldn't have been fired all at the same time. If it fired all at the same time, then the subject would have been completely frozen and there wouldn't have been any motion blur, which would have defeated the whole purpose of this shot. So that's how I would create this multiple exposure image. Effectively, every flash that fired created an exposure, which effectively created 3 exposures. As I was creating these images and I was looking at the back of the camera, one thing was distracting me about the multiple exposure image, and that was her white shirt. It just was distracting and it wasn't creating the vibe that I was looking for. So I requested that she remove the white top to help eliminate that distraction.
On top of the morning, on top of the wave, on top of the team, on top of the days, on top of my purpose. I create. Y'all wanna copy, but we're not the same. Sometimes when it can be dark, sometimes when it can be scary, sometimes you still gotta push on and just do what is necessary. You need that mindset, dog. You're just like a mercenary. You just gotta go push on. You just gotta go and get it. You gotta go be so fly. People around, they're asking you why. Yeah, what is the reason you do it? Yeah, what is the reason you even try? It is cause I need me a purpose. I need a decent life. Yeah, I don't wanna be so basic. I just wanna go and fight. I really wanna give it all. I really wanna go all in. Yeah, I'm really gonna be that guy at the top that's not gonna be falling. So I'm just gonna be that leader. Man, I will be shot calling. So I'm back with a pack of my wolves, but you won't hear us hauling. On top of the morning, on top of the wave, on top of the team, on top of the days, on top of my purpose.
For this final setup, I utilized 4 lights. 3 were constant lights, and 1 was an AD400 with a beauty dish, no grid. Each light served a purpose. So the lights in the background, the 2 lights in the background, those are the lights that I mentioned that came with the studio. And again, I forget the brand of those lights. But those 2 lights have a gel on both of those lights. One have a blue gel, the other one has a orange gel. So that's where the color is coming from, which I didn't explain earlier on. The other light that you will see that I use is a tube light to basically add a bit more light on the subject's face, to shape her face. The 2 lights in the background, all they're doing is just add an atmosphere to this image. The purpose of the AD400 light with the beauty dish is to help fill in the shadows on the subject. Because this image is very moody, but I didn't want it to be completely too dramatic, so I added in the AD400 to just add a bit of fill to this image. Once I dialed in the lighting that I wanted, then it's just a matter of just working with the subject to get the look and feel that I wanted. These images from this particular setup, I really enjoyed them. When I looked at them, I was really happy with these images. In closing, the one thing I would say is, from a photographer perspective, create the images you want and not the images that you're given. Too often when I got into photography, I just show up on the photo shoot and the subject or whoever it is that I was shooting would dictate what they wanted, which to an extent they're the client and they dictate what they want, which is great, but you are there to do a job. They hire you to do a job. And your job is to make sure that the image that you're creating is not just only best for the client, but also a great image that you're proud of to put in your portfolio. So create the image you want, not the image that you're given. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Put a comment down below, let me know what you think. Please share this video with your friends and family. And guys, if you got this far in this video, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.